Shalom, Akim, more praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakwadash, double honor to the apostles, once again. All right, to the elders of Great Millstone, salute to sincere Akim out there, the hopeful elect. And this is just a continuation video about the race wars or the war of the nations. Okay, this is basically part two to the prior video I just did. And first I want to start off by giving an account that I heard of from a friend of mine's at work, who basically he speaks to these heathens, and these heathens be telling them how great America is and such, how the benefits of this country and everything, and how much their life is better, since they came over here to America, and he was talking to this one security guard, because it's basically at the airport. The airport has private security in there, and most of the security guards are basically heathens, man. Mostly Arabs, East Indians, and Africans. You have some Jakes sprinkled out amongst them. You might have a couple of Benjaminites, very few Judites, all right, and Hispanic brothers that work security there too. But it's mostly majority heathen, man. Most of them heathens come from either Africa, India, or the Middle East, okay. And my coworker, he was speaking to this one Afghani security guard who basically, gave him the whole testimony, the rundown of his journey here to America. And he said he's from Afghanistan, and that he used to own land out there. He owned cattle out there in Afghanistan, and he said that the Taliban basically took his business, took over his land, his property, all of his cattle, and they threatened to take his life if he didn't allow his sons to join the Taliban. Okay, so he wound up fleeing and became a refugee in Afghanistan. And when he was in the refugee camp in Afghanistan, he said they was only giving him one meal a day. He was basically saying it was all messed up. He was in there starving, and they treated the refugee people like shit in that country. And then they wound up shipping them to the Emirates, all right, United Arab Emirates. That's where Dubai is at. And, you got a lot of them Arab sheiks that are oil tycoons that basically control that country. And he went to a refugee camp there, and they was giving him 5 meals a day there. He said they was giving him 5 meals to the point where they couldn't even eat all of the food that they was giving him. They basically they overwhelmed them with food and meals a day. And then they opened up a bank account for him, a United States bank account, where it was going to be U.S. currency put in it, and they gave him $6,000 because they was about to ship him over to the United States. Okay, and when they shipped him over to the United States, which they eventually did, he had to go through immigration services over here in the U.S., which is Babylon the Great, and when he was in immigration, waiting basically to get set up and get established into American society. But while he was in America, they was giving him 3 meals a day, and then not only did they give him 3 meals a day, they wound up putting more money into his bank account, which was $15,000. He said they put, this is $15,000 extra to the $6,000 that he already had in his bank account. All right, so that's what, $21,000 altogether. And once he had his bank account and everything all set up, and got his IDs and all that stuff that he needed to adjust into American society, they placed him. They gave him an apartment to live in with the first year rent already paid for. Okay, so he didn't have to pay rent, and they set him up with a job. And the job that he wound up landing on was a job of security at the airport. Okay, so and this is typical amongst these heathens, man. But to hear a testimony of it, it further proves everything that the apostles be saying, how these heathens come over here and they get these government loans and they get established, they get these stores and businesses set up, while the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in this country, who has been here for decades, centuries on end, can't even get a loan from the bank. They make it so difficult, okay, for us to even get a loan from the bank. We stuck on welfare and government support and such. All right, while family homes is broken up, the routine, the deal, man. Okay, of being a Jake in this society, a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American. How we under these curses, man. Okay, so here it is. These heathens get all set up. They get established, by taxpayer dollars. All right, and they get businesses set up. Whether it be little corner stores, open up a fruit stand, whether they become cab drivers, even though they got dirt roads back in their home countries, okay? But they come over here to these big urban cities and they become cab drivers, man, all right? And like I said, they set up businesses, man. You get the Chinaman gets his little Chinese store. The Arabs get these little corner delis and such, and fruit stands and what have you. These coolies get these liquor stores and whatnot. And, these gooks get these laundromats and cleaners set up, okay? And it's no wonder that these heathens, they migrate over here to America and they love this country, man. But then in turn, they open up these businesses and shops in the ghettos where you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans live at. You Israelites, you Jakes, okay? And they sell all the product to you. And they benefit off of your oppression, man. Okay? Here it is. You got a Arab who was basically giving government loans and grants and got himself a business establishment as far as, opening up a corner store. And he's selling you all of this produce and you paying for it off of government benefits of welfare. Okay? And they look down on you like you can't pull yourself together. They look at you like, damn, you've been here all this time and you Negroes and Latinos, y'all can't pull yourselves together, man. You paying with your EBT card, you paying for food and all of that with your EBT card. You come to these stores with barely enough money to buy some of these products, and they don't want to let you go for 5 cents or 10 cents or a penny for that matter. Okay? And they look down upon you like, damn, look at you, man. You can't even pull yourself together. You got all these kids, and you can't afford to take care of them. They look at you like, what the hell is wrong with you niggas, man? But meanwhile, they get this big boost of government loans, and they get established in your community, man, and make money and profit off of your oppression. This is why it's going to be a major race war, man. This is why the Lord is going to destroy these heathen nations, man. All right? This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 2. Oh, I'm sorry. This is, matter of fact, let me get Lamentations first. Lamentations chapter 2, verse 15, it says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. Yeah, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. All right? All these nations, all these heathen nations, the Chinaman, the Arabs, East Indians, the Africans, they look down upon Jake, man. Okay? They look down upon Jake. All right? It says they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. Right? They wag their head like they hiss at you. Like look at him, man. Remember the movie Menace to Society? And that gook in the store said, I feel sorry for your mother. Okay? They do shit like that, man. These heathens, man. Okay? It reads on to say, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Yeah, because spiritually, we're the trendsetters, man, in this world. Okay? So these heathens be in these other countries, they see the great champions like Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jackson, okay? Those gladiators and singers and performers of the past, but now you got the John Joneses, right? You got the Javante Davises, okay? You got some of these young rappers and entertainers out there, man. Kendrick Lamar and these guys. You got that whole Rihanna and all of that, man. So they look at them and say, they say, damn, these are the people that we see on the silver screen, and the top entertainers in these sports events and venues. Okay, but when I come over here to this country and I set up businesses in their neighborhood in their community, they look at them, man. They all look scraggly. They look bummy. They're struggling. They're addicted to drugs. They're smoking cigarettes. Okay, they got, like I said, they got a bunch of children that they could barely take care of. They own government assistance. That's what these heathens. That's how these heathens look at us, man. They're like, nah, this can't be the same people that Rihanna come from, that Jay-Z and Beyonce come from, that Mike Tyson come from. Look at these people, man. They hurt. Okay? And that's talking about Israel, man. Our people. Okay? Our people are messed up. We're in poverty, man. So they're saying this can't be the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth. It reads on to say, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. Okay? And that's what happened, man. All of the nations, they basically profit off of us, man. Off of our downfall. Okay? Because they're not setting up businesses in their own communities. And some of these heathens, when they do try to establish businesses in their own communities, their own people be extorting them, man, and robbing them, okay, do sex trafficking and all kind of shit. There'd be a lot of shit like that be going on, man, with these heathens, man, okay? But all of these are our enemies, man, all right? The other nations, they are our enemies. The Lord said that. Matter of fact, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. See, all these other nations, they got this sense of pride, man. Okay, that they're this bugged out mentality that they think that they're better than us because of the low condition that we are in as a nation. All right, so they talk down upon us, man, and they look down upon us. It says they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Yeah, they take crafty counsel because the elites of these heathens, all right, they all in bed with the so-called white man, with the scumalakites that pretty much run the world, man, that govern global society. Okay, they're all together. You have these secret councils, man. All right, you have the Bilderberg meeting. Okay, you have the Council on Foreign Relations. You have the Bohemian Grove. All right, the Trilateral Commission. All right, you have these secret councils, man, wherein these elites get together, these global elites get together, and they talk about ways of oppressing the world, but namely the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because that's how nations became great. Nations only became great by keeping our people in slavery and captivity. When you look at all of the ancient kingdoms that ruled the earth, right, going back to Egypt, okay, going back to Babylon and Assyria, okay, and then the Greco-Roman Empire, that was all. Those nations only became great over the blood, sweat, and tears of the nation of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, of them enslaving our people. And now we have America, which is Babylon the Great, okay? And there's no doubt, no shadow of a doubt, that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the ones in captivity that's suffering in this society, okay? And the proof of that is the story I just told you with this Afghani migrant that came over here to this side of the world, to this country, and got this government loan and got his first year's rent paid for free and got a job at a snap of a finger. Now you got all these migrants coming from South America and from Mexico, and what's going on with them? They're not getting no $20,000 United States bank account. All right, they're not getting no businesses set up. They're getting slammed and thrown in shelters. Out here in New York, the migrants, the Mexican immigrants that was bused here to New York from Texas because they crossed the border. The mayor of New York City, he made this big news, this big news media press about how he gonna welcome them in, and we're gonna show them Southern Republican states how you take care of the migrants. Okay, but now recently he's talking about what? Busing these migrants up into Canada, because he's like, damn, I can't do nothing with them, man. Okay, so I'm gonna have to. This has become overwhelming to the city, a city that's already corrupt and falling apart. So he said, we're gonna bust them up to Canada. Let them cities in Toronto and Melbourne and all of them deal with these migrants. Okay, So they're showing you that it's a difference between these heathens and you Israelites, because you Mexicans and you Central American Indians and you South American Indians are Israelites, man. That's why you don't get the $20,000 into a U.S. bank account in a first year rent free living, okay? Like an Afghani or Arab or African can get, all right? Why? Because you're Israelites. They're heathens, okay? It reads on to say, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And we've seen that, man. That's clear as day, all right? You know, these devils, mainly the house of Esau, you so-called white people, through enslaving the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? You know, they basically stripped us of our nationality, man. Okay? They stripped us out of our nationality, all right? Through slavery, you know, through oppressing our people. They took the North American Indians and put them in boarding schools and, you know, and made them lose their traditional ways and made them forget, you know, their ancestral ways. And they taught them Roman Catholicism and all kind of bullshit. The same shit that they taught the so-called black man in America. Okay? Which further proves that we have a common ancestor. We come from the same paternal line. You so-called Negroes and North American Indians. All right? And that's how they did. They cut us off from being a nation, remembering who we really are. They did the same thing with the Latinos, you Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and Cubans. Okay? Did the same exact thing to you. All right? It says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. All right? The tabernacles of Edom, which Edom is the so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, which are these Arabs, all right? Palestinians, Saudi Arabians, Iraqis and such, okay? Of Moab and the Hagarenes. All right? Now, Moab is talking about the Chinaman, the Chinese. All right? The Hagarenes are these Africans, okay? And Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, okay? Which Ammon is the Japanese. You know, you out there on the West Coast, you got a lot of them Japs that own fruit stands and stores, right along with the Koreans, okay? And out there on the West Coast, and they give our people hell out there as well, man. That's why there's going to be a major race war in this society. That's a fact. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 15. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. See, the day of the Lord is going to be terrible. It's going to be a terrible day, man. But especially for you goddamn heathens, man. Because the Lord seeks vengeance on you heathens for what you've done to his people. Okay? Now, who are the heathens talking about? Anyone outside of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, I have to keep stressing it, are you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Puerto Ricans, North American Indians, Mexicans, you know, South American Indians, you Central American Indians. Okay? You make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So anyone outside of you as a race of people or a nation of people, they're going to be destroyed, man. They're going to be destroyed. Them migrating over here to America, getting these government grants to set up businesses here in this society is really all for their downfall in the end. Because the Most High is going to destroy them. I'm reading the scripture. It says, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. And what has the heathen done to us as a people? But further our oppression. Okay? But further our oppression. Back in Los Angeles, I forget what year that was. I don't know if it was 1992, 1991, when you had the 15-year-old girl, Latasha Harlan, that got killed by a goddamn Korean grocer. All right? A Korean woman in the grocery store claimed that she was stealing orange juice, man. Okay? In which that was a lie. And shot the girl in her back. All right? And then, on top of that, got off. All right? And I forget the judge on that case, who was an Edomite woman. I forget her name. Okay? But she allowed this Korean grocer bitch to get off, man, after shooting a young black woman in the back. All right? So as the heathens has done unto us, we going to do to these heathens, man. All this is built up anger and oppression, man. And the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he just going to unleash it on these heathens, man. And how is he going to do it? Through his people, Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The Lord is going to raise you up, man. Okay? It says, thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Yeah, thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So all you heathens, you're going to have to deal with the fury of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua through his people, the nation of Israel, man. And that's what's coming. And I'm going to end this video on that note because, you know, it's already 20 minutes in. So I might make a part 3 to this, or just continue on doing more videos going into the race riots and race wars, because America's going to be totally annihilated, man. And guess what? Israel's going to have a big hand in pulling down American society, so-called white society, in which these heathen nations are joint heirs with these Edomites, these devils, the so-called white man. Okay. So I'm gonna end this video on that note. Say shalom while rocking to you brothers out there. Hopefully you were edified, and Lord willing, I'll see you in the next one. Shalom.